afternoon. Today we're going to take the Habilis Bush tool that I've got here in the standard leather sheath. But this is my bush tool. Absolutely fantastic knife. Love this thing. I've had this about 7-8 months now, and I've not really shot any videos on it. So today we're going to see if we can rectify that. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can pull out some fat wood out of this stump. I made a stick, a baton, that hopefully we'll be able to pound it down through here. I'm not sure this is going to be heavy and strong enough to go through this particular piece of wood, because this piece of wood is part of a stump, so there's multiple roots that come in. You can kind of see the rings here, the rings here. There's two separate sets of them up here on the top. By the looks of this, we've got a ring set here, here. There's another ring set here. There's a very small one right here. This could be a challenge to get through. This may be something I have to attack with my saw versus a knife. But we'll see what happens. And again, we're gonna try this Habilis Bush tool out here and see what we can come up with it. I have no idea what kind of wood this is. I found it on my wood pile out back. I shaved the bark off. Got most of it, most of the inner bark off on it. Used the old hickory butcher knife to see if we could get down into that. But I want to see if we can get the Habilis Bush tool out and see if we can't trim a few pieces of this off. Maybe split it down to where we can get some smaller sections. The way this is cut and the way this big knot is running right through here, I think we'll see if we can take a smaller side section off here and see what happens. Well, it seemed to cleave through that. We're not getting a good clean cut, but that's because of the knot scenario that's right there. Let's see if we can, maybe we can try that again, see if we can get that down through here if we try a little bit different angle. Okay, now we got that side piece off. I don't see a lot of good fat wood in it, so this just looks like it could be scrap that could go into the fire once we get going. Looks like the fat wood's going to be a little bit deeper in. I think what we'll try and do now is we'll try to see if we can cleave off a section of this where we can see the orange on the knot there. Might be best to come through it this way, just the way the rings are set up. So let's give that a shot. Primarily pine, but I'm not seeing any serious fat wood in this piece. I'm hoping that there's some in here. Hate to think that this is all for naught. Although with pine wood, you really can't go wrong. I mean, there's going to be some in there. Let's see if we can kind of go down a little bit thicker section. Boys and girls, that is some hard stuff. Of course, the fact that it's frozen doesn't help. Might help if you have a strong enough piece of wood to go through that. So obviously we're trying to take off a bit too much. Let's see if we can do a smaller section, maybe an angle cut right here. Wow, that is some heavy, thick, hard wood. Okay, that's getting us a little bit closer. There is just starting to be some veins of the good fat wood that's down inside. This knot section itself here looks like a pretty good chunk, but the rest, again, ooh, it smells like pine. And you can see some of the striations in here. There is some fat wood down inside. We'll keep that one kind of off to the side and see what transpires. Now, since we've got this cut at an angle like this, I'm going to see if I can take a section of this off. Now there's some orange in there. I'm hoping you guys can see that. It's not exactly what we're looking for as far as super good is concerned. Now I'm starting to wonder if there's anything. There's got to be though, because there's a good section of it right there. Now the question is can we get to it? Let's try this part again. Okay, with those multiple rings in there, this is yet again proving to be very difficult. Let's come back and see if we can take a little more off of this side. Okay, now we're starting to see some good fat wood in there. You guys can see that in here where it's real orange, a little bit lighter on the outside. Oh, lovely turpentine smell. Providing, of course, one likes to smell the turpentine. Not a keeper. Yeah, there's several of these are pretty good in here. We're going to take a little piece off the side. That's a keeper. Yeah. That's got some of what we're looking for in it. See if we can trim that down a little bit more. These are all going to be keeper pieces here. This would sit nicely in our kits. Trim them down a little bit, put them inside of our fire tins. Yeah. Lots of good. Ooh, that's a nice fat piece right there. I might leave that alone because it's got that thick knot on it and it's just oozing with sap. Boy, you smell that? It's got a lot of that good smell, that good turpentine smell we're looking for. Again, lovely pieces running through here. You can see that orange striations of the fat wood, which is just basically pine tar impregnated. Alright guys, this is what's left of our original stump. And yes, you can still see there is plenty of fat wood left in this. Is this the best piece of wood that I've ever cut up for fat wood? No, not particularly. But everything in this particular pile right here is very usable. Man, I tell you what, that could go in your backpack, your kit. You could keep it in your backyard. You could do all kinds of stuff with that and start fires real easy. Now, as we're kind of looking at the Habilis Bush tool here, what I thought we might do is we might see if we can peel this down a little bit here. See if we can kind of make a fire stick out of this. Oops, getting a little thick there. You can see the moisture coming out of this thing. We'll just keep walking around the edges, getting us some nice thin shavings going here. Boy, howdy. Look how rich and thick that is. Tell you what, and this is using this Habilis Bush tool after pounding it through a stump with what appeared to be multiple roots coming into it. So all in all, I'm kind of happy with that. So now the next question, we'll gather some of these small finite pieces here. We're going to put that right there like that. Let's grab our ferrocerium rod off of our holster here. Maybe. Boy, I got that tucked in there tight. Good. That son of a gun wasn't going to come off in the woods, that's for darn sure. And I think we should see if we can put a spark on that and get that lit. And if not, we may have to gather up a few more of these tiny little pieces here, lots of surface area. Get everything kind of set up. And we'll see if we can't just touch a spark to this. Alright. See if we can use the backside of this. Might be a right-handed knife. The bane of being a southpaw. A little bit windy today. And voila, we have fire. So, not the best fat wood I've ever seen, but certainly acceptable in its ability to light a fire. This has also been the review of the Habilis Bush tool. So if there's any doubt, this is a fantastic tool. Worked beautifully. Man, look at that fat wood engage. Are you kidding me? Well, I wouldn't call it an epic fail by any means. And I think the way this is burning up here, you'd have more than enough time to get a sustainable fire going, get you some twigs over the top. Even this stuff here that I don't consider to be good fat wood, simply because it's all part of just what we took off the outside. Of course, it's going to have resin in it too, so it will take off and go to town. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this away. I'm going to box up my big fresh pile of fat wood there, put it somewhere where I can keep it, where I can put it into my little tins and my fire starting kits. Kind of like what I've got on my belt. I think I showed you guys that once before. But that's a pretty decent way to start a fire with just a piece of fat wood. Good old-fashioned ferrocerium rod, worth their weight in gold. Well guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. We'll see you outside. Thanks.